So I'm just gonna snip it here and snip it there. And we're gonna see what this thing can actually do. So one of the things that I've noticed is that they still have the subwoofer that they had, last year, but also they've got these weird little things that kind of flare out on the side that are like little speakers of some sort. Don't know what exactly they are. I would imagine they're speakers, but they do look very odd. It does add more weight than what we had last year, so I think that's something to note here. Of course, you still have all your inputs and stuff like that on the side of the TV. I'm not seeing anything particularly noteworthy that stands out. You still have 4K 60 right here. You still have, 4K 60 here as well. And then this is the 144 hertz port, and so is that. So you only have two HDMI 2.1 ports and two basically HDMI 2.0 ports. It's very odd. The accessories that come in the Hisense U8K box are going to be this backlit remote. It's the same exact one that they had last year. And again, it's a nice little touch that Hisense lets you kind of have that backlit remote where some others don't. And it's nice that it has the flat bottom so that you can put it down on a nightstand, for example, and you don't have to worry about it basically falling over, just making it more convenient to grab. The detachable universal power cable. Of course, we have our pack of screws here to put together our stand. And that brings me to the feet. Now these are metal, but the design is very awkward and very weird. Not feeling this. Not feeling this at all. It's definitely a downgrade from what Hisense is known for in the quality department. They look really ugly, like really, really ugly. But again, I guess this is going to come down to a preferential thing. I absolutely hate these feet, and I think they're a downgrade from the more brushed metal, kind of premium metal look that Hisense usually goes for on the U8 series. So yeah, this feels a lot more like U7 territory as far as like how they should be delivering those things. Definitely not their top end for sure. Like it just feels cheap, and so unfortunately that's the readout for these. Stand assembly is very simple. All you want to do is take the T that you see on the stand here and line it up with the T that you see in here, and it goes in very easily. And then from there, you're just going to grab one of your screws that you have here, and then you're just going to drop those screws in here and then screw it. It's very, very simple. Last step is super easy. All we're going to do is plug in our power cable into the power slot, and then from there we're going to be ready to power this bad boy on. Turning on the U8G for the first time, you'll be met with the welcome screen that'll ask you to select your language first. We're going to select English in the United States. Then they're going to ask you to select your region or country. After selecting your region or country, it's then going to ask you if you want to do the setup for the Google TV or if you want to do the basic TV setup. For my personal uses, I'm going to do the basic TV setup. After that, it's going to ask you for your password for your Wi-Fi, and once you input that, then it's going to start checking for updates. Now, as you can probably see, the screen is not necessarily the best with the reflection handling. It's basically a mirror. So if this is for a bright room, you're definitely going to have issues where reflections are just going to be a problem. And the kind of like semi-matte finish screen, not really the best. Again, something you need to notice. Now they do have their Google terms of service here that are forced. And again, the most important things to note is that, again, it's just kind of advising you in the first paragraph about the terms of service. The second paragraph is just talking about the fact that it may automatically install updates from Google or the device manufacturer. And then the last one is telling you about all the kind of like user data stuff, like user activity will be visible to other users of this device and things like that. So if you don't agree with any of that, that's the part where you have to basically box up any Google TV and then send it back. So not my favorite thing. I've been talking about this for years. Nobody seems to care, which I don't understand, because that's a big deal to just literally get away year after year with like saying, hey, you will submit to these terms of service. Now, if you don't really care, just go ahead and hit accept. Or if you really want the TV, then of course just hit accept, but still be advised that this is a thing. It's not a plug and play experience. You must agree to all terms of service. Okay, now once we do that, then it's going to say Google services. Now, because they forced me to do the Google terms of service thing, I always turn this part off. I'm not helping Google improve crap, because how dare you, right? I paid you for a product and you're forcing me already out the gate. Disrespect begets disrespect. So we don't help them with anything. Now, as far as pairing the remote, it's already paired, so we're going to hit skip, and it just literally says you can pair the remote, but I don't need to since it's already paired. And they're going to be nosy and ask you for your zip code, but again, we ain't giving that out. And then we're going to hit skip, and then it's going to go down and ask you for Hisense's terms of conditions, and unlike Google's terms of service, these are optional. Now, of course, if you want to use things like the enhanced viewing, you will have to accept some of these, but you're not forced to, and it's a difference in the respect factor. So I think one of the big problems that Hisense is facing is that the Google platform is very prevalent and important, but at the same time, it is troublesome because it comes with terms of service that people might not necessarily want to accept. So I think Hisense needs to kind of pull a Samsung and an LG and just make their own OS, because Google is just screwing everybody over with these forced terms of service. So Hisense gives us the option to skip, and I'm going to do just that. We're going to skip, and it's going to say terms of service, privacy policy, all that stuff. We're not going to do all that right now. We're just going to go ahead and say not now. We're going to go ahead and skip the Google Assistant. I don't want any of that auto listening crap. And then AirPlay HomeKit, we don't have anything for that. Now, you can do it in two different ways as far as like being done with your setup. You can set it up for retail, or you can just click done. If you set up for retail, it's going to usually play the store demo after it adds these finishing touches, as they say. It is important to notice, I don't see a drop of blooming whatsoever, so that is very important. I did know on the TCL, I did see that. So at least in the early going of the QM8, where this I don't see, but it's something we'll have to discover later. So I'm going to hit confirm for the store demo, and it's entering store mode now, and here we are. Now it's showing us the store demo to give us an idea of what the picture quality is like. It's advertising the peak brightness at 1500 nits. Black levels are 100% lovely from my angle. I'm like right up on this thing. I'm really looking at it, trying to find even the slightest bloom, and right now I'm not seeing it. One thing I did notice though is that there are some little motion jitters, so we'll have to investigate motion to see if that's better or worse than TCL. Clarity though, one thing I'm noticing is way better than what I saw on the TCL, which is a breath of fresh air. So again, it is something that we're going to have to investigate like kind of more in depth in this, but this is just the initial unboxing and setup to give you guys an idea of what I think. So far as an early initial impression, I think the build quality is cheap. I think Hisense should go back to the brushed metal and chrome design, the elegance, because that's what set them apart from the lazy entry-level TVs at this price point that we usually get, where they're all cheap plastic and so on and so forth. And Hisense is starting to go down that path now a couple years later, and I don't think that's necessarily the smartest move. I think people prefer opulence opposed to entry-level garbage. But again, I could be wrong. As far as their feet, I don't like the style that they chose. I think it's very budget buyer, very ugly, not high-end, not premium at all, and I think it screams like it needs more lemon pledge. Now, as far, again, as the picture quality is what a lot of people care about, and so far, so good. I'm loving what I'm seeing out of this demo. Reds are red. I'm seeing beautiful colors. The highlight placement is ingenious. I mean, this might actually really be something worth our time. And I'm really interested in the 2.2 or 2.1.2 multi-channel surround, because it's definitely a lot heavier than I think a mini LED should be for a 55-inch, let alone, I'm sure, something like a 65-inch. God damn, dude, the clarity is really good on this set, though. Like, I'm right up on this TV. Now, what that means for a lot of people is, like, usually clarity is one of those things that kind of go amiss on these Hisense TVs, but the clarity is insanely tack sharp and really freaking good. So I'm definitely going to be pushing this thing to see, like, how far we can take this. But, like, holy crap, that looks great. Like, I'm seeing every little flower. This is, like, really impressive, actually. Now, it's also important to note that this year Hisense has come out and made a very bold claim saying that they're the king of basically all mini LEDs, and, you know, they're kind of patting themselves on the back. So we're going to test that claim. I don't like the reflection handling already out the gate. That's an L for Hisense. I don't like the design as far as the feet, but that is subjective. But the clarity so far looks brilliant. The black levels are really buttoned up, like very beautiful. And the brightness is really good so far. So I don't know, man. We might have ourselves a tough time here with this one. But I'm going to dive in and I'm going to go through on my video where I kind of tease you guys and let you know it's here, but also get what you want to see. So we're going to be analyzing all those things that you guys talked about and just kind of letting you know what's up. But as far as an initial early impression, no, this is doing a great job so far. Like, this is definitely a beautiful TV, and I haven't even put in settings or tried to optimize it at all. And again, that does hold relevance. Now, I guess what I can do in the next upload is just kind of show you like what literally every other YouTuber is going to show you, right? Like, hey, this is the comparison / review out of the box. It's like super easy to do. Anyone can tell you that because it requires no experience. I can do that for you guys if you want to see it. I'll probably do it just so you can see, like, once you put in settings, it's an entirely different TV, because I say it all the time, but I'm going to really start illustrating that here on this channel, because it's going to start to separate the wheat from the chaff, because you're going to start to see like there is a big difference when you were actually trying to tune your TVs versus I just took it out of the box and this is what it is. And who knows, maybe within time manufacturers will catch on and they'll start dialing in their TVs the way I do so that you get the most out of your experience. Wouldn't that be a lovely world? So either way, the black levels, again, incredible. Brightness is very impressive, but it's not just brightness, right? It's not like the TCL QM8 where it was just brightness for the sake of brightness. Highlight placement is like really like a focus on this, and I'm seeing like where things should be illuminated, they are, not just the whole screen, and that really keeps things black like they're supposed to be. Like, this is probably going to be a really nice treat, so I'm very excited, if you can't tell, to like just start analyzing this thing already. So I'm definitely going to end the video here, but make sure you sound off with what you want to see. I am going to be testing motion because I am a bit concerned at some of the jitters that I am seeing here and there, but again, they never really ship with the motion processing the way I would use it. So again, it's a lot that we've got to analyze, but let me know what you want to see down below. And as always, thank you guys so much for watching. The #1 brand in honesty. So far, so damn good. Those fireworks, like, my God, fireworks are usually so hard on these types of displays, and I don't see it like a lick of bloom. Like, I'm really excited. Let's go. Let's get it started. And until the next video, I'll see you guys later.